All right. We are live. What's going on, everybody? Let a couple of y'all get into the live session real quick. I'm going to temporarily mute my microphone real quick. All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to a special episode of Let's Talk Tech. I'm your host, HD. We got none other than the original Davis on the live stream today.
Thank you.
Jerry
Thank you for having
Davis.
me.
Why we letting everybody get in, man? We already know, you guys probably can't see, it's faintly in the back, but he got a Chiefs board back there. So you already know who you rocking with.
Oh, you better be glad I didn't put on my Super Bowl ring for the whole interview, just like have it. But I had to show it off since you brought it up. But
That's respect, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that mean, I gotta go get, my rings and stuff like that from the real deal, the AFC West. Y'all just getting back right.
hey, you're one of the few people that actually know like I'm a true Chiefs fan. Like it's a lot of people that could easily assume I'm a bandwagoner, but you're one of the witnesses. You know for a fact.
Look, random fact, I got a picture of you and at the intramural with a Chiefs hat on, and you snuck some McDonald's in a shoebox.
That sounds like something I do. That sounds like something I do.
Because they used to be strict in that intramural,
I
man.
forget, man. That's funny. It's probably so many stories we could go back and tell. Some not appropriate for the stream, most definitely. But
Yeah, I have to tell these people to hit the like button. But hey, without further ado, man. Hey, Jerry, go ahead and tell the people in here a little bit about yourself. Just introduce yourself briefly.
yeah, so I'm Jerry. I'm from Shreveport. Like Henri, we both went to high school together. Just a little bit about myself. I went to the military immediately after high school. I joined the Air Force. I was a firefighter, so it was very similar, like working in a city fire department, except you worked on the Air Force base. And the other main difference was that you also deal with aircraft. So there could be fires on the aircraft or rescue situations on aircraft. And then after that, I transitioned to Dallas, Texas. I started working for Bestbuy after I got out of the military. And then I started working for GeekSquad. And that's how I kind of transitioned into tech. And that's just a little intro. I'm not going to take up all the time, but we'll go back and touch on all of those as Henri asked me those questions there.
Cool. Yeah, I remember, back in the days, I think, didn't you have like, so when you were in the Air Force, I know everybody has like drill and whatnot.
Right.
Some of those weekends you had drill, was that also when you had to go work as well?
Right. So the first weekend of the month when you're in the Air Force Reserve or in the National Guard or any of those type of weekend warrior type of deals in the military, normally like the first weekend of the month is when you go in. And so I would go to the fire department and we would do types of trainings and stuff like that and keep our certifications up to date. Now, when I would really work full time at the fire department is like during the summer. Like we would be in school at Tech and like I would just spend the whole summer like working 24 on 48 off or 24 on 24 off during the time. Um, and basically just work there on the base because they would deploy people to the fire departments right in the desert and they needed reservists to backfill the active duty stations. So that's basically where I made my summer money is firefighting full time on the base.
Look at this, man.
What?
Shout out to that
Oh,
boy
Joey.
Joey, man.
Yeah, I got to keep it smooth, man. I just bought some fresh blades about 2 days ago, so this is a 2 day old shave you're watching right here.
Shout out to that boy Bad, man. Um, so speaking of that, going to that with the Air Force,
hmm
about briefly. I know you had, like you said, a lot of stories when it comes to college, but what you since you did end up transitioning, what was your major, originally when you were in school?
So originally when I was in school, I came to Ruston at 19. Like I said, I had skipped, like normally, people go straight to college. Had that year in between in the military. So I came to Tech with I would say a pseudo interest in kinesiology because I had to major in something, right? And so I really didn't know what I wanted to do at the time. And that's something that I think a lot of people that if I had to talk to people just, getting out of high school or maybe in their early 20s, it's okay to not know what you want to do. I really wanted to like make sure I have a point to say that. And it's okay to take time to figure that out. And that's what I had to do. And so yeah, but anyway, to kind of answer the question, my main interest when I got to Louisiana Tech was in kinesiology.
Yeah, funny that you say that. I think it is good to say it's okay you have time to know what you want to do because you're asking a lot out of a younger kid,
Right.
to know what they want to do. I mean, sometimes you know what you want to do at an early age because it's like something. I don't want to say simple because if I say like something like going into like medical school or something like that, it's simple. But I mean, it's like your path is clear cut. You know exactly what you got to do to get to your end goal.
Right.
But other occupations sometimes it's not as clear cut. Nor do you know the people in those occupations or have you been exposed to them. And that's why some kids don't know. I have two younger brothers now that's at Huntington. One's a junior, one's a sophomore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been asking the older brother, like, hey, you know what you want to do? And he probably not watch this right now, but he said, yeah, I think I want to do engineering. And so I asked him, I said, hey, why you want to do engineering? He said, I don't know. I didn't know what to pick. I was like, no, we're going to try to go off of things that interest you and what you like to make sure you're just not in school to be in school. And I was
right. Because that's the mistake I made for sure. For sure. Like I was definitely not passionate about that at all.
Yeah, and I was telling them, I was like, I was roommates with people that were like engineers, and I didn't used to see them. They were busy. So I'm like, unless that's something you really dedicated to, I don't know if you really want to do that.
Right. Yeah. We've seen many come and many fall at the steps of engineering at Tech for sure.
Yeah, the quarter system ain't no joke.
Right. Most definitely.
Matter of fact, it's Joey's fault. Joey told me, he was like, hey, folks, if you lose tops, you ain't getting it back. I ain't never get tops back.
Word to the wise, man.
So you brought up that that you moved from 318 area, we'll just say that, and you moved to Dallas.
Right.
Can we explain to the listeners that just because we say we in Dallas, we not in Dallas?
Oh, so you want me to give like specifically where I am? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like kind of tell me not too specific like your address or nothing, but like area.
Right. Yeah, so I actually live in Denton, so it's like a suburb north of Dallas. But I just say Dallas because I mean I've been out to California, and people that live in Diamond Bar say Los Angeles, and people that live in Venice say Los Angeles. There's a bunch of different areas, but I think it's easy to say Dallas. But I'm not ashamed to say I'm from Denton. UNT, home of the Mean Green, right up the street. So,
well. It wasn't that. It's because think about it. Everybody, if they're on Facebook or something right now, everybody they move from Shreveport to Dallas and this and that. And
right.
I try to tell people, I was like, okay, it's cool, but I don't think they really understand how big of a difference it is when you move.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think, and I mean, I'm even still kind of branching out more now as I get into my, my computer networking career. I'm want to put more feelers out across the country, instead of just trying to stay in the South. That was my thing kind of in my earlier 20s. I always wanted to stay in the South and be near my family and things like that. So, it's definitely good to branch out and get out of your hometown if you can.
I went on record telling my mom that I wasn't gonna move to Texas. I was like, no, I'm stay here. But that's when you kind of like young and naive. I thought the company I was at now, back then CSRA, which is now GDIT, I was under the assumption that I was going to be working with them for a while. Like I was going to move up. I was in La La Land, like what people don't really understand about corporate America. But I figured I was going to move up. I wasn't going to have to move because I had,
right,
a good job. But it didn't work out like that, and I ended up leaving, and it was the best decision I could have made 5 years ago. So
right. And I think we all go through something similar like that. And it's funny because you went straight through school and, and graduated and kind of, you say you worked and you kind of were in corporate America, and you felt that ceiling, and you were like, this isn't it. But it's like you kind of like you sold yourself on it going into it. And I did the same with Best Buy when I went over to Geek Squad. And I had moved into kind of like a supervisor role with Geek Squad. And then, I thought I was just going to continue, and I thought the sky was the limit there. But then, I started to see how limited it was. And then I had already started to pick up an interest in computers, showing you the ones I built earlier. Like I had built those already. And then it kind of just ticked with me that, this is something I'm passionate about. And, that's when I started to look into, the educational opportunities with computer network technology. And man, it's just been off from there, seriously, to the moon, in the words of Elon Musk.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, but to piggyback on what you said, I know I used to want to work at Best Buy when I was in college, but that's because I was getting tired of working at Target.
Right.
Target wasn't giving me them hours I wanted, so I was like, man, I'm gonna try to go work at Best Buy. But at the same time, doing retail like off and on for 3 years, I knew I didn't want to do. If push gonna shove, retail be my last resort, just because of it's customer facing and it's not as rewarding. Like you really got to work for your money in retail, even if you're a manager. You got to
right. Definitely, man. Definitely. It's that's not a fun ladder to climb at all. So, but some people do it and stick it out, and they make good money, and that's okay. But that's just not the lifestyle I really want to have.
Definitely. So speak on. Let's get on some Geek Squad stuff real quick.
Okay.
Well, first, let's back up. What made you switch from doing the fire department and then going to do Geek Squad? What piqued your interest of saying, you want to do something, a change or something like that?
So honestly, just to be real honest, I really just kind of grew disgusted with my career in the fire department, just with the experiences with people there. And I won't get too deep into that. But yeah, just really, really rough experiences with people there. And I was kind of done with that career, but I did know it was something I could fall back on, just in case like whatever I wanted to do next didn't work out. I always had that in my back pocket. So I kind of just started applying for jobs. And I mean, in Best Buy, really, I wouldn't say it piqued my interest, but it just really was kind of luck of the draw. And I just needed to start working because I knew I was going to move to Texas. Right. And so it just was kind of luck of the draw that I landed there, and that was that, and it just went from there.
That's what's up then, man. Pretty much, shooting all the shots and the one that fell in.
Right, man, because I still at the time I didn't know what I wanted to do. I mean, I came out here like I was like, I was still like, I even, like I was like, maybe I'll just, get general studies, like just to have something. And, like I can use this at Best Buy, or I can go back and work at the fire department and like try to work my way up there again, like at a different state. Like I just was all over the place, so but yeah, everything worked out, man. I'm a strong believer in things will work out for you when the time is right.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on the school thing, because I with my company now, or even my videos on YouTube, I hear people, they'll type to me all the time saying, oh, do I need a degree to do this and that? And I'll tell them, I said, not really. It's really centered around the company. I said, can a degree help? Yeah, but right. I'm gonna say you actually need one. But that also lets me go back into, like, since we all was in Caddo Parish, like they had the Career Center. And I know Career Center had some of these classes, but it wasn't detailed enough, nor were our counselors. I'm not blaming our counselors, but I guess for the area we're in, since these jobs weren't big there, it was something that they didn't really focus on to say, hey, you can go do this. You don't necessarily have to go to school, and you can make, a very great living. And you had everybody. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's that at the time, so when we were in school, right, that was kind of like a generational thing and also a cultural thing, because like with us, like, I mean, you just like look at our parents, like just immediate family, like who really, knows like about the Python programming language, or what a subnet is, or any of those things. So like we really didn't have like people around us, and nothing against them, but it's just like you don't have people around you that have that foundational knowledge to point you in that direction. And so it's kind of like we're at a loss with that. And I don't know if Joey's still in here, but shout out to him, because he's actually trying to work on, Joey teaches, and he's trying to work on something with getting kids into computer technology at an earlier age, in underprivileged areas.
Yes, definitely shout out to Joey. He's been reaching out to me about that. And,
right.
I've been trying to inform him a little bit about that process, because it is, it can be tedious. And like I tell people, I don't really, promise anybody, any miracles or anything like that, but it can definitely be tedious.
Right. But I think just giving the kids the opportunity to get their hands on the stuff is awesome in itself. Because again, that's something that we didn't have the luxury of, So I think that's something that's really cool, and a great idea that he has.
Yeah. So now we're moving past that.
Okay.
Since you were in Geek Squad, tell me like some funny like stuff, like probably like in your experience, like the dumbest thing somebody brought a computer in there for or something.
So I didn't work behind the counter at Geek Squad. So I worked at their corporate location. It was like an office connected to a warehouse, but it was it was one of few like offices across the country that did what we did. Now we did handle some technical issues and things like that, but it was mainly on the logistics side of things that we handled. So I mean, I didn't do too much like troubleshooting with computers and stuff like that, but we did get some crazy calls with clients. Let me see. People buying like Blu-ray players that haven't upgraded to a TV that has HDMI yet, and getting mad and wanting us to send somebody out tomorrow to resolve the issue and things like that. Like that was a very common occurrence. But other as far as like stupid technical issues like that's probably about as low as it gets right there.
Man, I know for me when I did help desk, that was funny because like right on the time like I was around leaving, I had somebody argue me down. It was a user that called in. I'm telling them their password, and they're telling me their password is their username.
Wow.
And for those that do help desk, technically you're not supposed to hang up on people, but I was hanging up on people left and right them last 2 weeks. I'm like, what they gonna do? Fire me?
Right. It's funny because I want to say it's in the A+ book, in the A+ certification book, or at least the one I have, like on the first few pages. It says 9 times out of 10, the issue is the user, not the application.
The user error for sure.
So that's funny.
I think I was no. It was something the other day with the payment or something like that. For somebody trying to book something with me, and I thought it was something I did, but it was really a user error on their part, and I was like,
right. Yeah, that's normally how it goes, man. That's normally how it goes. It's never as serious as it sounds for the most part. Are you I'm sorry, and I don't mean to hijack your interview, but I did want to ask.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Are you into CEH? Like, are you gonna get into penetration testing or anything like that? Or
so I got a video on CEH.
Right.
I'm one of the people. Well, I'm not few. I'm like one of the majority of people that pretty much says that CEH is really not that good of a cert.
Right.
Only because it's multiple choice. If somebody gave you a test bank or something like that, you study it for like a week, you can go in there and pass the test. Doesn't mean you know how to be an ethical hacker or penetration tester.
Right.
What happens with CEH is some in the government type of jobs want you to have it, that people just push it out because they want to get those contracts with the clearance, or other companies don't really know anything. HR just making job descriptions based on what they seen, but CEH isn't really that highly regarded. Like, for example, a company I'm using now that I'm trying to do this incident response certification with eLearn Security, their stuff is way better than CEH because the exam is practical. So it's not even pen and paper, which is cool because a lot of people don't test well with memorizing answers and things like that. So something practical, hands on, is really the best way to go.
Right. That's cool.
But yeah, nah, no CEH for me. I'll probably stay more for the viewers that don't know. Blue team has to do like with more with defense when it comes to cybersecurity. So more so defending and making sure that environment is safe and we have all our safety measures covered. So I'll probably be more blue team and more probably the next 3 to 4 or 5 years probably move into management. I'm not really. I kind of manage people a little bit now, but I'm not really to fully manage people because it's a job in itself with grown people. So I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Got you.
But speaking about Geek Squad, since we're on that shortly, what after I remember you said you started looking into like I think different things within technology when you was introducing yourself. So talk about once you realized the ceiling at Geek Squad, and then what started to make you look elsewhere.
Right. So while I was working there, it just like, I mean, it was a place where our scope of work was very malleable. They changed it constantly. And it was frustrating because, they will always, tell you, oh, this is for the better. And, what was the word? Accept challenge and change. That was one of the big things in like their, like, I guess, mission statement. I forget. It's been a year since I worked there, but our companies had those mission statements and it's like, oh, sip the Kool-Aid and, everything's going to be okay, type thing. And so accept challenge and change is one of those things. And I mean, you should accept challenge and change, but they used to manipulate it in a way. It's like, we're going to mess you over and change your scope of work and blah, 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 blah. But, just accept this and, we're going to get better from it type thing. So that was becoming really frustrating to me. And then I started to see the ceiling because I was applying for promotions and then starting to realize that like my position that I was in wasn't really like poised to be in a management position throughout the company. Like it wasn't like a plug and fit everywhere in their eyes. And so that kind of made me realize I was like, I need to start like evaluating my options. And it just kind of hit me. Like I said, I was already interested in computers. And so I had a good friend of mine, Jessica, she came in and told me and she said, basically you're already interested in this stuff. Why don't you go back to school for it? And I said, you know what? I said, I'm gonna look into that. And, when I was at Tech, I wasn't passionate about, kinesiology at all. I messed around. Henri can tell you that. But now, and I haven't really told anybody this except for my close friends, but now, I'm actually a semester away from graduating with my associates in computer network technology. So that's been something I've been pursuing, and I want to use that and continue to grow in that career field and in that space.
Man, congrats on that because I didn't even know that. So that's pretty cool because I believe that's going to also help you at work. And I'm also a bigger supporter of telling people to actually go to community college first before 4 year, especially if they
Most
want to
definitely.
if they want to go to tech route because they offer like more certs and stuff like that in the community route instead of 4 years.
Right. And that's something that Harold can speak to too for those of y'all that are watching. Because Harold actually, while I was in the military, Harold actually went to a community college for a year to kind of get his feet wet first. So don't be scared to take that step either. There's really like it's crazy because like people, I think like people older than us kind of were at fault of telling us that there was some like strict path to success, like graduate from high school, go to school again, graduate from there, get a good job. And it's like, it always doesn't work like that for everybody. And, so it's good to kind of carve out your own path and talk to people that kind of like took alternate routes so you can pick and choose what may be best for you. And you see they were successful. So, that worked for them so you can make it work for yourself.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I saw something interesting. I don't know if it was on Twitter or LinkedIn, but tech is really more so like not the school, but like the technology, whatever you do in technology. A lot of these jobs are really more like trades instead of like having to go to school for them. And I think they need to start treating them like they are, like, basic skill, high skilled trades.
Right.
Because you can go do your certs and then you hands on and you pretty much can go work anywhere.
Right. And I mean, and IT is like pretty much a trade within itself at this point. I mean, like you were saying, like how you don't need a college degree to compete, for a job now. I mean, a lot of the people that had their hands in the early development of Facebook didn't graduate from college, So, it's just like stuff like that, people should definitely like look at that and look at their options and not just see like college as the only answer.
Yeah, that's what I believe. I mean, even right now, I'm all for if you know how to do it. I really don't care about, you got a 4.0, you got all these certs, because I've talked to people that got these certs that don't know how to do the work. Whereas if
Hmm.
somebody who was passionate has kept their head down for like 6 months and can show me and tell me everything I need to know about something, I take that person over the other person. And I know it's not fair because the other person spent a lot of money invested in it, but
Right.
we're only paying you for one thing, and that's to do the job. We're not paying
Right.
you to get certs, and I'm not paying you for your ability to memorize. And I think
Right.
that's what's got lost in the sauce when it came to cert chasing. And I'm always telling people, I don't like cert chasing. Try to learn.
Right.
Now, I will say the higher you try to go, and I don't always like the makes about race, but the higher you do try to go in these fields, you will probably have to have some type of education behind you,
Right.
because you're going to be like entry level. It's like probably like a wide barrel gun or something like that, shooting out something very big. But then as you get to the top, it's more precise. The applicants are way more experienced, and now you got to have something that sets you apart from
Right.
everybody else. And when it gets to those senior level roles, and you get to be a manager, director. Well, actually, you got senior level, then you got principal. I'm trying to see what's at the principal. And we just go on and on, but it starts getting super, super, super competitive. And you either got to have years of experience or really know what you're doing.
Right.
So, but like I advocate, like one of my friends, I was on the first one, Dayspring. Um, I advocate people now, hey, if you could get, associates and then able to get like a full time job somewhere within that field, let them pay for the school, you'll be fine. I like to support that method than having people, get all this dead in school because really the government wasn't regulating how much they charge, and now they created a problem.
Right. Most definitely, man. I mean, you seen it. I was fortunate enough, I mean, to not have to do that. Like the military was paying for my school, even though I was BSing around. Like, so I didn't inherit a lot of debt, but a lot of people didn't have that luxury. A lot of people we saw went to tech, messed around, and they just paying off debt for nothing. So
Right.
definitely, like I definitely advise against that mistake if you're not sure what you want to do.
Yeah, man. But now that you got to the ceiling, let's talk about how many like jobs did you apply to when you were trying to make that switch from Geek Squad to like an IT job?
I was blessed, man. Just one application. So I had a classmate in my CCNA class at the school I'm attending. He was a manager at the NOC and T-Mobile, and he was taking the class to look to get his CCNA, and I just was talking to him, and when it was time for me to transition, I just reached out to him, and he helped me right away because like I mean, he was kind of like my study buddy, so I always helped him with projects and stuff that we had to do in the CCNA class. So as soon as I reached out to him, man, he had me working in a week and a half. So that was a real blessing. That's an entry level job, and it kind of sucks because my plan was because T-Mobile had just merged with Sprint. And so, after the merger was finalized, I was gonna go ahead and get my CCNA and then go ahead and try to move up. But COVID has kind of slowed all of that down, and I'm kind of like a gray face within the team because, I really only worked there for like a month before they sent us home to work remote.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like disappointing. But I'm about to go ahead and schedule my CCNA exam, and like I said, I'm almost through with school now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put feelers out since I'm just about done and see where my path takes me next.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna suggest that you go ahead and schedule that test because it helps you study better.
Right,
Um,
most definitely. Yeah, I got a study guy with a Boson. Have you heard of him? I mean, of course, I've taken a course already. So I took it was 2 semesters. We did CCNA 1 and 2. Then second semester we did 3 and 4. And then I was supposed to get a 60% off voucher from Cisco. I'm still waiting on my voucher. But I sent it off, but they never got back with me, and I'm pretty sure that's something to do with COVID, and they got overloaded. But I'm just gonna go ahead and pay for it because I'm not gonna like delay myself any further, waiting on a coupon. So
Tanisha said something that I was going to touch on. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
most definitely,
And that's
100% agree.
facts. I think that's one of the only reasons I tell people to still go to school is for networking.
That's true. I
And
would say I definitely didn't use that tool good enough while I did, but I would say I didn't expand as much as I could have.
man, because I know me, I never had problems making friends, and I just talk to like all type of people because I never know when I'm gonna run across them again, or like even now, like with me utilizing LinkedIn and things like that. Like, oh, yeah, I remember him. He was a solid dude or whatever. Hire him or whatever. So it's always good to make friends because you need them. Because just like you stated that your study buddy was the manager at the knock you work at now, one of my old jobs when I first moved to Texas, one of the guys got hired, went to church with one of the managers. It's like, oh yeah, I go to church with him.
Right.
And so he I'm not saying he got hired off the strength of going to church with him, but on fact of just knowing him, he pretty much was, as long as he met the basic, bare minimum of the qualifications, he had the position.
Yeah, man. I was reading a book by Malcolm Gladwell, and he was talking about passive relationships that you have with people, and you'd be surprised like how far your passive relationships take you in life. Like, he knows people that are very connected that just send people like birthday cards, like saying happy birthday or whatever, and they don't talk to them every day, but it just kind of like just keeps you interconnected with those people, and like they may remember you or pass you off as a suggestion for somebody for a job just by having that passive relationship with the person.
Nice, nice, nice. Definitely need that book.
Yeah, Malcolm
But
Gladwell is one of my favorite authors for sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
no, you good. I was gonna bring up far as like just ask you a question about the CCNA, like how right now, if you was to have to take the CCNA, how do you think you would do?
I think I could pass it. One of my classmates took it a few months ago and failed, and then took it like whenever, like immediately, like whenever they could again. I don't know if it's like 2 weeks or a month. I forget how long. Do you know how long it is in between if you fail? I can't remember, but anyway, she took it the second time and passed. But I would say I'm a little rusty now. I would have preferred to take it like right after, but I mean, just like I kind of like brush up on things and like I grasp it right away. So like once I schedule it and I feel like if I just study, for a month, I'm fine. I would say.
Yeah, that's me still trying to fit in studying because my studying for this certified incident, I think it's certified incident responder. It's a
Right.
little different since it's not straight lecture and questions. The studying is a little different, especially like I said, with it being practical. I'm going
Right.
through some of the labs over and over again, and I'm trying to get. I said eLearn security a DM, and they've also responded to me on LinkedIn when I've tagged them into like statuses and things like that. So I think
Right.
I'm going to make a status soon saying like, how do I get a voucher to take this test?
Yeah, it's
But
a lot of ways to get those, man. You just got to kind of do some digging.
I will say you should look into your job, see if they'll reimburse you for it after you take it.
They will. They will. That's actually an option. But see, the school I'm attending right now, they have a grant program and they do the same as well. So like that's my first branch right there is through the school. But yeah, definitely T-Mobile. After I'm done, I could still utilize them to pay for other certifications and stuff like that. So
But you probably could finesse it to where you could show your job like you paid for it, but school paid for it, and then get that money on the check.
nah, you're right though, man. You're right. You're right. That probably could work out that way too. But again, I haven't really even had a chance to even, I mean, try to address any of that with them just because I was only in the knock for a month and I loved it, man. It was cool. Like I loved working there. I loved the setup. And then like we got sent home like a month later and been there since. It's gonna be a year next week that I've been working there.
Yeah, let's. I remember that too. You know how I'm trying to see what happened. I don't know if you was on Twitter or you said something, or I reached out and asked you about it. because everybody was working from home that time,
Right.
and me and I think my coworkers and our manager during one of our meetings were talking about that. It's like almost been a year, and I'm kind of like over it at this point. It's funny because people that's going to work like, nah, I want to go home. I'm like, I need the balance of like at least going to the office to make me feel a little bit more productive.
Right. And I miss it was about a 30-minute drive to work, but I miss like that little meditation from like going from home to work. But like instead of just like sitting down, because you're already at home to get started and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I remember when I first moved to DFW, I was staying in Little Elm, and I used to work in Dallas/Addison because the address was Dallas, but it was Addison.
right,
And,
right.
and so that was like depending on which way I used to drive. If I was on the tollway, it was fast, but I used to like take Coit all the way out, and that was probably like close to like 30 minutes. And
Right.
I could listen to a new album if it dropped, or podcast wasn't as big back then, but something on YouTube. It was a lot you could do in the car because that's like kind of like your time. Now a lot of people are working from home, they can't get away from their kids, their wife. It's just the balance. For real, like the balance of you needing some space, is been messed up, and people are not handling it to where it's like I just, what I'm saying, you just try to find any reason to be by yourself. That's why you see so many people at the store or whatever they're
Right.
trying to do out here. They're just trying to get some free time because
Exactly.
it's tough,
Yeah, man. It's important. It's important. And some people think that isolation like means you're in a bad mood or something. It's like, nah, it's just like it's therapeutic, but some people don't get it. But hey.
Yeah, I was gonna add people hadn't seen they work wife or work husband in a while.
No comment on that. No comment.
I got you. I think I seen somebody tweet about that on Twitter. I was like, yeah, those are the people that, and I actually just making it funny, but they do make sure like people are straight when they come at work because it's a lot of interesting things that happen in corporate that people don't know about. Like I did a video on it, like you said, you realizing the ceiling. I realized the ceiling when I found out my own management was stopping me from interviewing with different departments and then act like they didn't know about it when the recruiter told me.
Right.
And I was like, okay. I was like, it was a point I was at work sitting down and I thought about, I know you've seen Lean on Me, right?
Yeah, with Joe Clark. A lot of people compare my dad to Joe Clark, so I've seen that movie a lot of times.
low key though, because I was telling some people about that the other day.
Yeah.
But I had thought about, I was like, man, you know what? I got bills, but I had for a short minute contemplated going in there flipping that man desk over, like old boy did on Lean on Me.
Man, yeah, don't do that, man.
I'm like, fam, how you gonna at least lie to me? Because it's just so, it's so grimy. I'm not even gonna get into it. It's on the video. If you guys want to check out the video, I think the video is entitled "How to Handle Corporate Politics or Office Politics," something like that. It's on the
Yeah,
channel.
man. It's definitely some tough waters to maneuver, especially when the water's pushing up against you.
But so just briefly, I remember we discussed this earlier about tools or anything like that. So it's not to get like super in depth, but have there been any new tools like you've been introduced to that you're going to learn about more so in your free time?
Right. I mean, there's some open source software tools we use at the knock. I can't really discuss them because of security concerns. But I mean, there are a few things they introduce us to and that we touch on and things like that, but nothing too crazy yet. Again, it's an entry level position. I really would like to work on the racks upstairs with the routers and switches again. But that's just a hurdle I got to jump. And to be honest with you, just talking to you right here, I don't think the future of that is with T-Mobile personally, just because of my position, like through COVID and things like that. I think they're looking to hire within, and that's okay. But I'm just gonna put my feelers out, like I said, as I close in on finishing up school here. So
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, now I always tell people like a year and like tech with that experience is like really most of the time magical because it can get you what you want, man. Everybody been talking about, where the money reside. I mean, that's tech because Now, here's another generational thing. A while back, my mom and I were having a conversation, and in the older generation, if you born in maybe what I say, maybe late 40s to like maybe like 50s, and then probably if you end at the 70s, or maybe even like late 70s, but they were taught, oh yeah, you stay at a job a long time, and then you get to move on up, and companies care about that. And tech is not like that, because most of the time, sometimes you might get a good situation where you're getting paid, but for the most part, you need to jump around and get your bread. Because
exactly, man, exactly. Yeah, you got to be prepared to move to pull a LeBron and take your talents to where it's good at.
Man, big facts, because sometimes that little 4 to 5% raise they give you every year, I mean, it's straight, but it ain't better than going somewhere and they give you a $20,000, $30,000 raise, sometimes 40. It really just depends on the position you can get. And if you still in the live stream right now, it ain't about what you're worth, it's what you negotiate.
Remember, I heard you say that, man. That really resonated with me. I will be honest with you and say, like, every job I've taken, I've been so happy to actually get the job. Like, and that's going back with Bestbuy. And then when I got hired, I had to interview for GeekSquad within Bestbuy. And then when I left there to come to T-Mobile, like, I never ever asked, like, oh, hold on, this first offer is not going to work. Like, let's, this is what I'm bringing to the table. And this is why I feel like, I'm worth more of this ballpark number. I actually watched your video on that, and it was really cool. So definitely shout out to you for putting that out there, because that's something that I never ever thought of. So definitely y'all check out that video on negotiating your salary or your wages that Henri put out.
Yeah. So for me to be transparent, when I got my first security position,
and not to cut you out, but Joey got a question for you whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, we're gonna probably do the questions at the end. So hey guys, if you got questions, post them in here, and then we'll answer them at the end. That way we'll dedicate more time to them and not try to rush over the questions.
Okay, cool.
But when I left the knock role and I got the first job when I was working at, people already know who I was working at, but I was working at McAfee when I got the McAfee job. Well, first it was Intel. Intel had owned McAfee, then they split.
Right.
I didn't negotiate that offer because they pretty much offered me like $30K more than what I was getting. So I was like, man, I'm out. You ain't got, but I could have negotiated. I'm going to have a HR professional on here eventually, and we're going to talk about that. They want you to counter. If whatever they offer you first, they got more to offer than that. And just, oh no, you go ahead.
No, I was just about to say they've already like, it makes sense because they've already made the commitment to choose you. If you say like, oh, I want this much, and they say it's too much and kick you out, well, now they got to go back and reevaluate the candidates and see who's best. So it really makes a lot of sense what you said, because like they've already made their mind up. So right, so for you asking for more money, it's like I think they would rather do that than go back and reevaluate other candidates.
Yeah, definitely. And the trend is different now. Most recruiters now will contact me and they'll ask me, what's what I'm looking for, instead of going through the process and then talking about salary. They're really more forthcoming with it now. And I have a video that I recorded that I sent to like a couple like my young guys. What was that? Yesterday, matter of fact. And I was showing them something. I applied to a position on LinkedIn. Right. LinkedIn said the salary was one thing, but the recruiter asked me what the salary would be, and I pretty much told them. This is what I pretty much said verbatim. I said, based on the location and job responsibilities, I believe the range will be, between X and Y. And I'll show you afterwards. People on here, they probably want to know, but time you show some people some, they swear you got it all the time. If you say you got some money, I ain't got it if you're asking me. But literally, in doing that, she was like, yeah, we can do that. And so if you establish a range, most of the time they'll fall into the range. And when you always hit them with the area and the responsibilities, it's going to be either, okay, we can do that. If not, because I'm going to tell you, sometimes the job requirements are asking for a team of 3, but wanting it out of one person. I'm like, nah, that ain't it, chief. I'll go somewhere else. I ain't finna overwork myself for y'all. Especially for, trying to lowball somebody. Like I made that post on Twitter about saying,
I saw that.
And talking about Alexa play, you play by Moneybag.
Right.
I'm like, CISSP is supposed to be for professionals that had like 5 years of information security.
Right, exactly.
A junior person not going to have that, and they shouldn't have it. I mean, that's not even a technical cert per se. It's more so for you to know more things about like the environment and like being like a manager slash director. Like that's what that cert is more geared toward. I mean, it's good to
Right.
have. A lot of people get it because they think it's just going to get them, 100K, which most of the time it can if you know what you're talking about.
Right.
But
And I don't know if it was in another video of yours that you mentioned this, but it's another good point to bring up is what you're saying is I don't think a lot of companies a lot of times like even realize what they're asking for, right? Because like you said, that's kind of like those two things don't even marry up together. So when you're applying for these jobs and don't be intimidated, and it's something I'm trying to tell myself now as well, but don't be intimidated by all these requirements because a lot of times they may not even understand. And if you go in there and interview well and present yourself well, you can shoot your shot and get the job, like Henri was saying in one of his videos, because they're going to train you how to do the job regardless. Like any job you go to, you're going to have to get trained. So
facts. And honestly, a part of jobs that I think I put this on Twitter too, but if you know you're not qualified for, apply to them anyway, and you get the interview, it's going to show you what they're looking for. Like,
right.
Some of these last couple of interviews, I didn't get those positions, but I've been learning stuff within them. Like, and these have been some higher up positions. Like, one of them was like pretty much the Korean Amazon, and that position that I was applying to was like a pretty high up. Like, the salary was nice, but I was learning some different things for what they're looking for, and that helps you stay sharp.
Right.
And that's also why I chose tech as well, because it's always changing. Like, you're gonna start seeing. Just like me, we seeing different stuff bringing in like every 2 years, 4 years, stuff is changing, which keeps you on your toes.
If it's 2 years, man, it's starting to get faster than that.
Yeah, but I only say that because of adoption. Like, it'll come out, but companies are slow to adopt.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because it costs so much money to do technology refreshes.
Right.
So I would say that. So guys, I didn't want to make this like a salary thing, but definitely, get the bag, because money that you're trying to count on for tomorrow might not be there. And I recently got off of my post when I bought my mom, but I was telling her that I'm not leaving any money on the table. If I'm at one company right here, but company B said they're going to offer me 40,000 more, I'm going over there, because if I try to stay with company A for 2 years and then I get to the marketplace, the value might have went down. Like, look at the world now. Some companies that you would have worked at probably can't go to because of, COVID, and, the economy and business hasn't been as good. Like, one of the jobs I think I was interested in 3 years ago was Hilton. Hilton was doing some stuff with their InfoSec program. Mm-hmm. And I said in one of my interviews, I said, hindsight's 2020, that might have not been, a good area to go into, looking at how the hotel industry has suffered now. So that's why you just never leave the money on the table. You always get it.
Right. Most definitely, man. Most definitely know your worth and get the most out of it, because I guarantee you there's going to come a day where they work the hell out of you. So you make sure you get every penny.
Facts. And all they do is see you as a number. They'll lay you off in a second. And it ain't business. I mean, it's not personal. It's just business.
Most definitely. Agreed.
Let's see what we want to get you out of. But so you said you got to work in the actual physical knock for about a month.
Right.
And so how many screens they had in there? I know they had a lot of screens in the knock.
Here, Joey, you got another question, but Henri was saying that we were going to address them at the end. I'm sorry, Henri. I just wanted to tell him that. But what was your last part of your question?
I was saying, like, how many screens they had in there?
Oh, man. Too many. I don't think I ever even sat back and counted them the 1 month I was there. But yeah, I mean, too many. It was like the way I would describe it to people was it was literally like ours was set up kind of like NASA. And I don't know if everybody's knock is like that, but it had the rows and they kind of like escalated up, right? And they had like stairs that when everybody had a motorized desk, everybody had 2 monitors. It was real cool, man. I had never like worked in a place like that. Like GeekSquad, like I said, was an office connected to a warehouse, So, at the knock, you got to have your door badge to get in, which I still have over here. You got to have your door badge to get in. You got to badge in pretty much through 4 doors to get to where you're going. It's real secure. So it was a cool experience, man. I really like it. But a lot of screens, most definitely, to answer the questions.
And that's in, I want to say that's over there at Parkwood, right? In Frisco?
Parkwood or Prestonwood, is it Prestonwood, something like that? Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I was only driving over there for about a month, so I passed by it a few times because like I do drive out to Frisco a few times, or I won't say a few times, just like frequently on the weekends, just to kind of get out of Denton, to go eat lunch or something like that. So I pass by it a lot, but it's a ghost town there, man. They're not talking about bringing us back till June.
Yeah, I know they sent the thing out for us in December. We was going to go at least through March, but I know for a fact it's probably going to go longer than that.
Right.
But I got to get back to the office, at least get my characters out of there, because you got your people on there. I got.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I got my. See, I already had all this at the house. I didn't even bring any of that stuff with me to the new job at T-Mobile. Like I said, I wasn't even there long enough. But yeah, you definitely need to go get your stuff, man.
Man, I got the little pop figures. I got Akeem from Coming to America. I think I got Black Panther. I got Miles Morales. I don't know, I got the picture somewhere. I think it's on my Instagram. But yeah, they made my desk worthwhile.
Oh yeah, man, it's definitely a good aesthetic to have on the desk. If you haven't invested in some Funko Pops and you got a computer desk and you're working at home, definitely do it. It'll definitely brighten your day a little bit.
And try to get one of those motorized desks. Like this desk I'm using, I never knew that I'd be sitting at this desk for
This
all
long.
the hours I sit at it. But
Right.
once I get rid of this one, I'm just gonna order me a motorized one because I need to stand up sometimes.
I like them. I like motorized, but I got an L shape right now. So I mean, I really, and like you said, I got my two rigs right here. So I really like having the L shape. But motorized are really nice though. They really are.
Or since you said that, I might keep this one and make it the L where it's stationary, and then the other one, that the main one is motorized, because
that's a good idea too. That's
this sitting down stuff, man. It for the birds.
Yeah,
got my lucky shirt on. Yeah, but when we were in the knock, I mean, we used like some basic stuff. Like, well, I guess my friend Marquise is at work, but it's funny. He works for the same company I used to work for 5 years ago when I moved. Hey, he's been there 5 years. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, sorry about that, guys. We use like simple stuff like that's why I first was introduced to Splunk. That's why I told you about it, because
right. I remember you telling me about that. Am I tripping, or do they have a building in Dallas?
Yeah, they do. They got
okay. I thought that was like, I saw that and I thought it was like maybe some other company named Splunk or something like that. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have a presence in Dallas. But that's when I learned about Splunk. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. And if you get to ever go to one of their conferences, man, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Do they have like stuff like that in Dallas frequently?
Well,
I guess not right now, of course.
With
right?
COVID,
But,
probably no. But like my company threw one. Like I work for Optiv, so we had OptivCon like in 2019 at the Star. Yeah, at the Star, inside the Star, they had OptivCon, so that was pretty cool. They had a lot of their vendors and partners there.
Yeah, getting a little glare in here. Sorry, my bad.
But, no, you're good. I think we had Splunk to monitor like some of the systems. We used Nagios and what was it? What's Up Gold. I think that was like the main tools. I think that we use. Oh, and Zendesk, and I forgot what the other one was. But if I was to tell people, right now, maybe basic stuff, I really couldn't tell them a lot of networking stuff. I mean, like I said, most of the time, depending on your knock, it's gonna be like a lot of monitoring. But I will say, learn how to. Documentation is gonna always be key.
Right.
Any job. And I don't know, you don't have to get into y'all incident process, I guess. But while you've been there, do you guys have your fair share of incidents, or is it mostly quiet?
It really just depends, man. It's very random. But I mean, of course, we have our fair share. I wouldn't say it's just quiet throughout the week, but some days we've been at work and I mean, it's just nothing. It's like the best job ever. They passing out food to everybody and all kind of stuff. And you know how I can get in the knot because some people do 12s. They work 12 hours or more. So, it's a real laid back place to eat at your desk. I've never seen anything like it. Like at GeekSquad, no drinks at your desk, no phone, nothing. And it's like, bro, like when you actually get like a job that like wants to like they want you to do your job, of course, but they also there to take care of you and stuff like that, and you see that and feel that it's a world of difference, man. So but yeah, it's a really cool experience working there.
Yeah, we do 410s right now, so everybody pretty much has an off day during the week.
That's pretty cool. Do y'all have an off day during the week and then weekends off as well?
Tier 2s do. We only work Monday through Friday. So my off day right now is on Thursdays.
Got you.
But the level ones, they some of them have an off day on the weekend, just depends how's it fit. But they have to work weekends and nights.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I started off on. I worked every schedule you could think of. When I did help desk, man, I used to come in at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I came in at night and worked in the morning. It was fun though. I mean, when we, when we first started, I was on a contract before I
Right.
was brought over to CSRA, and they was like, "Hey, look, we got." Matter of fact, they was like, "You know what? Y'all don't even have to tell us if you want to do overtime. Just come in when you want." Man, I was coming.
You were
I used
eating, huh?
Man, I used to go to game exchange and get like cheap DVDs, and I just
Right.
work. I just come in at nighttime because back then you probably only get like 3 calls at night, and I probably
Right.
work on my off days and shoot, I'd be watching Friday and stuff like that in the laptop.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Yeah, it's real. I like how they really do, like, if you work long hours, they definitely go to an extent to make it comfortable for you to work those long hours when you work in the knock. So that's cool. I
Yeah,
really like that.
and what you also said about the companies treating you right thing is it's one of the things that you realize is like it depends on the job, but certain companies know the mindset of some of the people that work for them.
Right.
They know that some of the people believe that's as best as it'll get for them, so they're not going to mess that up. It's one of the reasons why I mention to people a lot of times
That's a
why
good point.
people, while a lot of Shreveport region, why it's underpaid. It's because they can, well, for one, I'll say, of course, cost of living in Shreveport isn't that much compared to others, but
Right.
they still underpay for the average, just for some things to be paid. And it's because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people, without exception, people been around like their parents or aunts and uncles that had some bread. They don't really know what money looks like. So to them, 12, $15 an hour, is a lot of money.
Right.
But when you start breaking it down, federal and state taxes is really not. And then sometimes they try to offer that to people who have bachelors and masters.
Right.
And they're wondering why people are
To
leaving
this
the
day.
city. Right. And they wonder why people are leaving. Like people waking up and like, man, hey, y'all don't appreciate my talent. I'm gonna go somewhere that do that. I don't have to worry about, somebody getting shot right by me.
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Like this, it's I guess I don't know really what it is, if it's arrogance or ignorance with the market of jobs, with the way how they present some of these jobs, like at these low pay wages or salaries, and expecting all of this experience.
Yeah, it's that. And I also say what also probably hurts, the hometown is the education level. It's
Right.
probably lower. So if our education doesn't increase, then companies aren't going to come there.
Right.
And I don't blame them because they want to have people that they, at least believe are smart enough to do the job. So that's pretty much what goes into that. I could have probably like a whole stream on like why you should leave Shreveport, which it might be pretty fun. I might.
Nah, man, you're gonna make some people mad with that. Don't do that.
But I think I'm gonna make that, if y'all watching still, I'm probably gonna make it like a group panel. Like people just like maybe like 6 of us will be on here and we'll just be talking about it. I'll see who want to do it. I think it'd be thoroughly entertaining.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like just get out of Shreveport, because I mean, some people, stay in Shreveport and do well, and
Yeah.
or they may stay and help and develop others or anything like that. But I would say if it crosses your mind to leave Shreveport, then do it. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Well, mine is only for the people who know they deserve better, but their respective professions don't treat them right. Because
Right.
you're
I can get it from
noticing
that point of view.
cops leaving Shreveport and firemen have started leaving Shreveport in
Oh
droves.
yeah, bro. Even when I was a fireman, man, I never desired to work in Shreveport. Like that was like one of the lowest paid like cities for a fireman, like in the region. Like I'm talking about like architects like type thing. So like it's bad. So I don't blame them for leaving at all.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's one of the better fire departments as far as like how they operate. Just
Mm-hmm.
they're
They're
just
efficient.
super busy. Like I was talking to Tasby. Shout out to that boy Tasby.
Mm-hmm.
He working in Frisco now. He's like, compared to Street Rack, this is a breeze.
Yeah, and then look in Frisco, they're starting at anywhere between 60 and 80, where in Shreveport you start at 30 entry level. So like that's way better. And I think Frisco is privately owned, so like the promotion system is not the same as if you work for a city. but I'm not 100% sure. But
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't know he was working out here.
yeah, it's a lot of them out there.
Joey said 318 Ratchet City for life.
But yeah, Harold, I'm gonna do the panel. But hey, if y'all still in here, drop the questions. Let's get to answer some of these questions.
Yeah, here I think I got. Oh, I can't scroll. Let's see if I can see Joey's last one.
I'm gonna go back to Joey's first one because he
Okay,
asked this
cool.
one. What program do y'all recommend for high school students start using to get intro to computer networking? You can take a stab at that first.
Program. Um, I would say like just here. What's the name of this? Oh, Packet Tracer. Packet Tracer is now Packet Tracer. I wouldn't say teaches them how to use it. It's called Cisco Packet Tracer, but it is a tool for them. So like if they want to be able to get hands-on experience with a router and a switch, not necessarily hands-on, but kind of like a simulation of how to build a network, they could do that. Now there's a really good YouTube channel out there with the guy. What's his name? I got a tab right here.
Network Chuck.
Network Chuck. That's who I was just about to tell you about. Yeah, Network Chuck does some great examples online, and I mean they could partner with Packet Tracer to try to duplicate some of those things, or even Nmap or any of those things, and go from there. But I would say YouTube is a great tool, but then you got to know how to search it to get what you're looking for. But Packet Tracer is definitely like a good place to start.
Yeah, definitely. I would say because network isn't my forte, but I've noticed there's been younger kids who've been studying for stuff like Network Plus and things of that nature to where they at least get a start. And what they also, I think I told you this, Joey, but I don't know what age you have to be, but Bipsy offers networking classes where you could take, I think they give you a voucher to take Network Plus. So if you go through a semester class at Bipsy, I think that class might be what, $300 maybe.
Yeah. I was actually about to go to programming route, and I took a Network Plus class because it was a prerequisite. And like my professor there got me into Cisco, like CCNA, and like I kind of just went that route and been doing it since. So yeah, I love network. I love networking.
Yeah, but I think it's around 200-300. I'll have to fact check that for you. But what that do is give you a slow way to gradually feed you information to see if you like it, and then at the end you take your Network Plus and Network Plus certified. Because matter of fact, while I was doing help desk, I took that class at Bipsy, and it had labs and everything you could do, and it was cool. I'm gonna put all this stuff in the chat. Another site I love and I tell people to use is Cybrary. I do Cybrary IT, and this site right here that I'm using the study for. What's the site I'm doing? The ECIR.
I see.
Yeah,
I see your question, Harold. We got you.
INE.com. Yeah. Okay. I see what Joey's saying. Money is the issue. So what you can do now that you're going to always either hopefully get a voucher because they not going to let you take the test for free because CompTIA want that bread. But it's enough material online that can still show them networking things.
And Joey, you should really partner with my dad and see if like you can partner with the school board about getting a grant for a lot of that stuff, because you're actually like trying to put a program together for some kids. So I think if you put something together and present it well enough, you can get like Cattle Parish to pay for a lot of that.
And if I'm not mistaken, Joey, I think they do that at the Career Center as well, because I think my younger cousin had his CCENT or something when he was at the Career Center or something like that.
I didn't even know they offered that there. I did digital media at Career Center. See, that's something like, again, I completely skipped over because I didn't have anybody to even point me in that direction.
So I'm going to ask him about that. Let me see if Marquise will answer while I'm doing this. Let's see what the other one that Joey asked. Boom. Do I believe in company loyalty? No, I do not, because they don't believe in being loyal to me. Because at the end of the day, everything they're doing is, for the best interest of the business, and I respect it. I mean, I'm a small business owner now, so when I do stuff, it's not personal; it's just business. So I definitely understand.
Yeah, I gotta be careful how I answer that question, because some of these viewers might use it against me in a sports argument later. But I'm a firm believer in always doing what's best for you, because the company's always gonna do what's best for them. So if you get an opportunity to move on, I think you should definitely, and you got more benefits, more pay and things like that, like definitely leave. Now, if you know you're on a trajectory to be somewhere greater, in 5 years versus like taking that job that may pay you more in the now, of course you should stay. Of course you should stay loyal to that company. But how solid is that? How solid is that trajectory? Like, who do you know that's like, saying that you should stay for such and such reason and blah, blah, blah. But as long as you have, those things ironed out, those are the two, I would say, biggest factors that you got to weigh when deciding on company loyalty.
Yeah, I like to add in, like, if you got a company that's like maybe like a union job or something like that, that's different because the union gonna fight for you. But
Right.
other than that, no. And let me tell you what really showed me loyalty don't mean nothing. When the coach let Peyton Manning go.
That was your first experience with that heartbreak.
I just realized, it don't mean that. I'm trying to see, why the Saints held on to Drew Brees so long, which they should have been letting him go.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back.
He better not come back to the Saints, so it's gonna be a long season.
Oh no, it's already he's already coming back, man. He took the veterans minimum.
I seen him take the minimum to help cap space, but he shouldn't be there. If I'm Jameis, I'll go somewhere else. Because check this out. I know this is supposed to be a sports stream, but Carson Wentz looked horrible, and he still probably go start somewhere. Jameis really didn't have a lot of continuity when it came to coaches, and still was straight. Yeah, he threw some turnovers, but all over his fault. We see Godwin still dropping balls.
Right.
So
Most definitely.
he still threw a lot of touchdowns and yards. That could be corrected.
Yeah,
Shoot.
don't get me started, man. Harold and Joey know I can talk hours on end about sports, so I'm over here containing myself right now. So
I know how you feel, especially being a Bulls fan.
Oh yeah, nah, we're not gonna talk about them right now at all. At all.
Let's see. So I think we answered Joey. Let's go to Harold's.
Yep.
What characteristics do you need to get into programming? Honestly, funny you asked that. Like when I have consultations with people who don't know what they want to do, I ask them like what their interests are. And I was talking to someone to where I made the decision, or it was a guy that I helped realize about something about programming because he hadn't been in the field in a while. But I would say people that pay attention to detail, or maybe people that have a slight creative side, because if you know how to code and you do the syntax right, you pretty much can create it to do whatever. So
right,
paying attention to detail, being creative, but also it could be a person who's not that social that likes to code. They just like to sit down and code. They don't want to interact with anybody. It might be, more of a introverted person that might be good at programming.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You brought up syntax. So people that's watching that don't know what that is, it's just basically like how you like format or line up like the code you're writing. So, a syntax can be, well, each language has their own syntax or whatever, but I was going to tell Harold a characteristic you need is to be able to, to like open your mind up and be able to read something that's completely different and be prepared to understand it. If you can because like coding is not hard, but it's like they do have like certain concepts that you have to understand or else you won't. And it's very foundational and you won't understand it all. So because I took like a brief class on like object oriented programming languages, like with C# and Python and Perl and stuff like that. And it wasn't like in depth on either of them. It kind of just took you to like a brief overview of them. But like it's definitely something that like once you read it and understand it after a while, it comes to you. So if you can do that, I believe you can get into it and put the time in.
Yeah, and I also like to add, honestly, with programming, it's just like learning a foreign language.
Right.
You just got to work on it and stay practical with, learning a foreign language so you could use it properly.
Right.
Learning Spanish in high school. Yeah, learning Spanish with Miss Chamberlain, I wasn't able to learn that. All I do is uno. So. Let me see. Joey says, when do you feel like you reached your potential at a company? Do you have signs to tell you that you're stealing? To be quite frank, I know from probably like the first or second week what my ceiling may or may not be. And that's, I look at the positions above me and see who looks like me. If I don't see anybody that looks like me, then I know, okay, this is a place where they're going to cap you. So, get your experience, get any free certs and training you can, and then, go to the next place because you know what your ceiling is. And
Right.
that's one of those things that is, discussed a lot in uh, diversity in tech groups that I'm in. And like our company has gave us our own, like, network just for Black people. And one of the comments I think I made was, hey, well, we see, a C-level exec that looks like us, for the company.
Right.
And, I think it's very important, because it's just like we see it. I mean, I think everything can always correlate to like music and sports. Because as we're seeing now, when we got in the NFL, look at the league, how it's made up, but look at, the representation of our head coaches or NBA, same thing. Like your boy Steven Silas in Houston could have a better team. Harden still want to be there. It's not typical that somebody walks in the situation that has like, MVP on MVP level caliber player on the team to be successful.
Right.
Or how it wasn't reversed, how Mark Jackson didn't inherit Steph and them. He had to build them up for Steve Kerr. Or how Tony Dungy built up the team for, Gruden. It happens all the time. And we don't always get those chances to come in and be successful. And if we do, we pretty much overqualified where we should have been had our shot years ago. But what I found out is in this space is a lot of these C-level execs have been rotated from company to company. Granted, they do know, some of them know what they're doing because they help people be productive. But at the same time, some people never get a shot to learn what they're doing, and that's one of the things that I see. So hopefully that changes.
Yeah, for me, I saw my ceiling when well, Best Buy is like a company that definitely tries to, push and say, oh, we promote development. We want the best version of you. We want you to have as many opportunities as possible. But then, that's definitely like pinning on the people above you directly, right? And you see how they develop other people and how much time and effort they put into it. And it's definitely like it's a two-way street for sure. But when you see certain opportunities get handed out and you're doing the right things, and maybe sometimes you see that person like slacking off in some areas that you excel in, and they're still getting presented these opportunities. That's like what I identify as a ceiling. And when it's really time for you to start looking at other options. But everybody I think has their own definition of that, but I think it's some sort of version of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me started. That's why I feel for my clients when people ain't getting them chances. Because I'm like, I work with some of these people that I wouldn't have hired, and I'm like, I would gladly take some of y'all that don't know anything because y'all will work 10 times harder than some of these people I got on the team.
Right.
It just never made sense to me. I was like, you have to. The reason why I'm not ready for management is sometimes you not have to beg, but you just constantly have to tell them, grown people, hey, I don't ask you to do a lot. Just do your job. Just do what you have to do. Do what's
Right.
documented and just do it. Stop being lazy. I shouldn't have to tell grown people to not be lazy for something that's not, physically demanding that you're getting paid, very good for. I shouldn't have to do that. That's kind of
Right.
stuff that gets on my nerves. And I'm like, I'm over it. Joey says, stop teaching kids Spanish and have them pick up Java or Python. I say both, man, because out here or in Texas, knowing Spanish is gonna take you far. You're gonna get paid more too for being bilingual.
I was gonna say I read somewhere that Mandarin is a really good language to learn in like computer information or computer technology world, because if you like plan on being an ambassador for your company that travels or something like that, that's normally where you might end up. But Spanish, like Texas, like you said, I mean I think the Spanish is advantageous for any career in Texas for sure, off top.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I can pull out Google Translate and see if it's helping me with that.
Yeah. Yeah, but man, Mandarin, like that's like the money currency language in China, and like all
Hmm.
those big networking like moguls out there and stuff like that. That's the language that's used.
Yeah, I want to learn Japanese though, man. Japanese is like I want along for the day where I ain't got to read the subtitles, where I understand exactly what they're
Right, that would
saying.
be cool to watch something like an anime and not have to read subtitles. It's a nice sounding language. I like it, but I am trying to learn Spanish right now. It's an app called Duolingo that I kind of practice on every now and then. But yeah,
Yeah, because I had a coworker. Shout out to Willie. I don't know if Willie read my channel yet, but Willie did a lot of time in Japan, and Willie would bring me like I'll say, "What's the Japanese word today?" And he'd break it down and say it because he knows how to like enunciate it. Like
right,
that's another thing when it comes to speaking a different language. Like they might not know what you're saying because you're saying it wrong. You're trying to say it like you in English.
right. Here go Joey and Harold going in the comments. Oh boy.
Hey, people that's watching this live stream, if y'all want to know how Joey look, go watch First Kid with Sinbad. That dude look just like Joey. But since we're at the end of the stream, we just talk about like some random stuff. I see you got the Naruto stuff there. So I'm gonna assume that's your favorite anime.
Yeah, man. And what's crazy is I've been trying to get Harold to watch it. He still hasn't started yet, or he's claimed he started. But anyway, I was a huge Dragon Ball fan. Huge. I'm talking about like into my 20s. Like I did not think that there was something else that I would like more than Dragon Ball. And like come to find out, that's really cliche. And they got like a lot of animes out there that tell great stories. But Naruto is one, which is kind of at this point like one of the cliche ones at this point. But it really resonated with me, his story, because like if you watch anime at all, Dragon Ball is like more about just power leveling and getting stronger and stuff. I feel like Naruto has a way deeper story than Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball is kind of like, you got Dragon Ball Z and the Frieza saga, then they have the Android saga, and then you get into GT and it kind of gets lost in like what's the actual story going on. Then they got Super, and that's a different, arc. And so anyway, but Naruto is kind of like one story all the way through and is really good. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, me and Jason are always into it about Dragon Ball Z. Like Dragon Ball was great because Dragon Ball made Goku focus on techniques and getting stronger in ways to win his fights. Not just training till his hair turn yellow and he can yell. Like it probably should have stopped at Frieza because
honestly,
because
or
now
the Android saga would have been fine.
Not, I guess, but what you see them doing in Super now is that they making Goku and Vegeta learn like different techniques to win fights. Something they should have been doing.
Right, but it's just it's just they're always coming up with something like crazy. Look, Harold said we're hating, but nah, it's just they're always coming up with something crazy like Ultra Instinct, and then like now I just read the other day on Twitter that it's something better than Ultra Instinct.
Oh yeah, it
and
is.
It's like now it's like isn't there like different versions? I was like, oh my god, like.
But I can't be mad at it because they do the same thing for Superman. They always make a Superman stronger, so I can't be mad.
But we both know that Superman is nowhere near strong as they got Goku right now. Like nowhere near.
You do you watch Death Battle?
What is it? Is it like one of those things where they compare like the strength of different characters and stuff?
Yeah, and so
I've seen stuff like that.
Yeah, so they factor in like a lot of stuff, and every time they did two things. I think Goku versus Superman, they always go to the newest edition where they gave Superman all these powers, and because they're able to quantify a lot of their stuff because of what they do when it comes to like, Superman went from the moon to here. We know the moon distance from the sun is this, and they're able to quantify to say, okay, they're about equal in speed and stuff like that. So I mean, that stuff is pretty cool.
Joey said the Cell Saga was the peak of Dragon Ball Z. When I said Android Saga, I mean technically Cell was an android, so like I included all of that in there. But yeah, the Cell Saga was like the best part.
You got a point. I mean, they should have let Gohan take over from me, but we know how that went.
Yeah, it's just like the story like after the Cell Saga is too muddy. Like from like Dragon Ball all the way up to the Cell Saga, like it was streamlined, like but like after that and they got into GT and like it just seemed like
GT don't even count.
It just seemed like Majin Buu was kind of random type thing, right? And like all of that what happened with him, and then it just got crazy, But anyway, yeah, I think anybody that, especially now that football season is going to be over tomorrow, shout out Kansas City Chiefs. I think if you haven't watched Naruto yet, that will literally last you until next football season. Because I did that. After football season, it was about April, and I was bored, and somebody suggested to watch Naruto, and yeah, I mean, I couldn't stop watching it, man. So Harold, well, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to comment on Joey talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I actually just started watching that. It's pretty cool, but the animation is still not on Demon Slayer's level.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out some new shows because because again, like Naruto has become like cliche now. Like everybody knows about Naruto now, right? Like nobody was really watching Naruto back in like '08 when it was like running live, you know. So
hey, now you want me to tell you a secret? Like me and a couple of my friends, like Naruto. I was first introduced Naruto. I think I was in middle school, so like I grew up on Naruto. And
that's cool. That's what's up.
So what y'all don't know is like after our football games on Fridays, once I would get home, I would go on the site I used to use to read the new manga that came out because these come out on Fridays. So I was keeping up with all that like through school, and I think by the time I got to college, I think Naruto finally ended. I had to remember because in 2015,
so you had to watch it in like Japanese. Like when I watched it, it was like half in English and half in Japanese. I think they got it all the way in English now, like on Hulu now.
But see, I was used to that because my uncles, like they used to get the Japanese Dragon Ball Z from Sam Goody back in the day. So
dang, Sam Goody, that's way back.
Yeah, so we was when everybody was watching the Toonami stuff, we was way past that. Like we had been seeing the Androids and Cell. We had been past that already.
Right.
So we always just watch the matter of fact, I'm gonna take a picture of the trunk of tapes so everybody can know I'm not capping when it comes to all them tapes. Like, these are VHS tapes too. That's how you know it's real.
That's cool. I really do wish I read the manga of Naruto before, even though that is expensive to collect all of that. But I do wish, like, because the drawing is way better in there, and then sometimes there's some context that they may have in the manga that's not in the actual anime. That's pretty cool. So
yeah,
but Naruto, man, I'm talking about 500 episodes of like gold. And and anybody that needs the guide of what episodes to skip to the fillers, hit me up. I email them to you. I know I already sent them to Harold because I looked at my email list the other day. He still hadn't watched it yet, but that's all right. We're going to get Harold to watch Naruto and get him to make a decision on which one is better.
Right. But so I won't drag this out long.
Got you.
What I'm going to tell you that is good that I used to dismiss because I didn't like how I looked at first is One Piece.
Man, I can't get with the oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna tell you. You're probably gonna say the same thing I used to say. But after football season, watch episode 1 and keep watching. You be like, man, Luffy don't waste time. All he do is throw hands, and you're gonna start liking it because I think it's like the longest running. They still got new episodes coming out, and it's pretty good. Very good story.
See, man, that's a lot though. Like, how many episodes are out already?
I think it's like 800.
Wow.
But they go by fast, and you'll be able to be like, okay. I mean, you can watch it at the time. Like Jason's caught up. I'm not caught up because I hadn't really been able to watch it. You can watch that, or you can watch shout out to TG. TG put me on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo pretty good too. Because JoJo is the anime that kind of went viral that had the Jodeci outro.
I got you. I remember that. The one I kind of watched halfway through that I need to go back and watch is Full Metal Alchemist. That one's not that long and it's pretty good, but I just never finished it.
Yeah, I never finished either. I got some short stuff for if y'all in the comments. I got some short stuff that y'all can watch. That's like freaking 1 season, 2 seasons long. Like Akame Got Killed is like one of my favorite, animes, and it's super short on Hulu. And anybody will love it. Or Kenichi.
Harold, go watch Naruto, man. It's not really 500 episodes. Like it is 500 something episodes, but like it's really like 320 that you're supposed to watch. But I promise you won't feel like you watched 3. Like you'll be mad that it's over when it ended. Like you're going.
Well, he got to go to the first part. Then he got to go to Shippuden,
yeah. But like the first part is only like it's like in total like the first part of Naruto and Shippuden combined, like when they're adults, is like 500 something episodes, but you really only need to watch like 300 something to get the
You
story.
do, but I will say they did have some interesting fillers sometimes that I liked, like about Kakashi when he was younger, or Itachi stuff.
Yeah, there is some filler that's good, but yeah, but I mean, you kind of stumble upon it on your own because like it'll be like a story that's like an episode that's ending that you need to watch, and it'll start it, and you'll know if it's like some filler that's actually good. But yeah,
And then before we end, Joey, I've told you this before, but I'm gonna let you know that Attack on Titan is trash. I
is it? I've heard so many good things about
I'm
it, but I've
I'm
never
perfectly
watched it.
I'm perfectly fine with, like, I could live and never see an episode of Attack on Titan again and be okay. That's how you know it's not good.
Dang,
It's really not that good. It's
I really thought I heard good things, but
I mean, as I try to get into the story, like, story is okay. It's just, for me, it's just weird. I really can't get into it. I mean, you got people like Captain Levi and all them on there.
right.
It just, I don't know. It just, I don't really care for it. I'd rather watch JoJo's, One Piece, Demon Slayer, and then for people who don't like, regular anime, try Promise Neverland. It's pretty cool.
Right.
I think you'll like that. But any more last questions, guys? I know I didn't mean to turn this into an anime
Yeah,
podcast,
man.
but
I didn't think this interview was gonna last over an hour, but I enjoy every minute of it. I feel like we had some really good conversations. We touched on some really good issues that I think both of us. I know me, Joey, and Harold. We talk all the time about a lot of the things we touched on. So it felt really good to be able to kind of like broadcast that out and get that to some other people and have some discussions with them too. So appreciate you having me.
yeah, man. You want to tell them where they can find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Prez Facebush. That's Twitter at Prez Facebush. That's pretty much the only social network I use, I would say, on a public platform. Everything else is a little bit more personal. But yeah, like that's the Twitter is wide open if you want to follow me there. I do have a Twitch account. It's under the same President Facebush, Prez Facebush, whichever one you search there, you'll find me. I stream video games, and I'm looking. I mean, we may have to get on there and just do some more talks like this, man. This may be our little niche to do. So I may have to connect with you a few more times because I really did enjoy the conversation. So
Yeah, that's a bet. I plan maybe we could utilize this on like Clubhouse as well.
right, that would be cool.
But you guys know where to find me. I'm on LinkedIn. He's about being Dallas.
Yeah, Henri, yeah, you might have to come. You're in Frisco still, right?
My information is G14 classified.
All right.
I'll let you know soon. I'll let you know as soon as we end the stream.
Okay,
But,
cool.
You guys, you know where to catch me at. Make sure you follow the podcast on Spotify or Anchor. It's on a whole bunch of sites. I'm waiting for it to get on Apple Podcasts, but this stream will be uploaded at 8 a.m. on Monday morning. So you guys be sure to tune in if you want something to drive to work and listen to. But appreciate everybody and all that you do.
Appreciate you having me. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all have a good day.
Make sure you share it everywhere. We out.